You're listening to the Real Elevation Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Hendricks, and here we discuss topics on personal fitness, well-being, and elevation of mind and body. Join us as we help build and grow a community of real, elevated men and women. If you're currently feeling frustrated, flat, and fed up with life, or want to be a physically and mentally elevated individual, you're invited to join us each and every week here on the Real Elevation Podcast. Welcome to the RE family and get ready to elevate your mind and body. Welcome to the Real Elevation Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Hendricks, and today we have another outstanding, elevating, and informative show for you. I'd like to welcome all first-time listeners to the podcast, and be sure to stay to the end where I will share with you all my social media connections where you can connect with me as we grow the Real Elevation community. So today we're going to be talking about the topic of goals and achieving your goals. And what we're going to be doing is looking at how you can reverse engineer your fitness goals and achieve them with ease. How you can reverse engineer your fitness goals and achieve them with ease. Now, before we jump into that, I just want to take a few moments just to remind you of an upcoming date that you need to have in your diary, and that is the date of the 4th of March, where we will be launching our next 10-day rejuvenation challenge. That's the 4th of March for our next 10-day rejuvenation challenge. So if you're currently in a position where you're listening to this podcast and you're liking what you heard, it's inspired you to take action, the opportunity to join us on the next 10-day challenge will be one I would encourage you to take advantage of. It's a chance over the 10 days to really look at how you can begin to refresh your mind and body, get back to feeling focused, feeling full of energy, and feeling body confident that you may have not been feeling for a period of time. Over the course of 10 days, you'll have some real light bulb moments on how you can begin to implement certain practices. Not going to disrupt your daily activities. It's going to be simple activities for you to do that's really going to get you back in a mode of feeling and looking your best. So date for your diary, the 4th of March is where we will start the next 10-day rejuvenation challenge. I will encourage you to get on board. As always, I will leave a link in the show notes where you can go to the registration page and get yourself signed up and get involved. So that's the 4th of March, next 10-day rejuvenation challenge. So let me start off by asking you this question. What is your goal, or what are your goals? What is it that you would like to see and improve and achieve with regards to your fitness and your well-being? Have you crystallized those goals in your mind? Now, we're talking about this because it's an important topic when it comes to elevating yourself physically, mentally, and spiritually, and living that elevated life where you can find freedom through fitness of mind and body. Goals are key to moving in the direction of your desire. Now, when it typically comes to goals, and the way we go about achieving our goals, we could look at doing those better. And what if I told you that the way you're currently going about your goals could be done in a much more efficient and easy way, that you find you living and being the person that you want to achieve effortlessly? Now, when it comes to our goals, what do we typically do? We look to set out of losing weight, getting fitter, getting stronger, whatever that specific goal may be. But what I found through working with many different clients over the years, that by adopting this practice that I'm going to share with you now, achieving your goals, it becomes much easier, much more efficient, and much less force. I know you've heard me talk about Real Rejuvenation. I will use the acronym of REAL, talking about realize, eat right, keep active, and love. But we're talking about how to reverse engineer your fitness goals and achieve them with ease. Now, if we took that word real and turned it backwards, and we used a slightly different acronym, This is a process that I've used with many clients, which has helped them propel towards their goals much more efficiently. So if we talk about real, but we talk it backwards, so that's LAER, we start off with number one. And number one is love the process. For many people, when they identify what their goal and their ideal is, they think that it's going to happen overnight. I'm here to remind you today that's not the case. If you've been someone in the past that has set an objective and you think you're going to achieve it in 2-3 weeks' time, the likelihood is you're going to feel disappointed and you're going to feel fed up and you're going to probably revert back to type. So number one is to love and enjoy the process. Love the change taking place over the period of time. I share a quick story with you when I was working back as a personal trainer in a gym a few years back, and I had a lady come up to me asking about working with me as a personal trainer. She made it clear that she wanted to achieve or get back to her pre-baby weight as she had just given birth to her first child. Now, as many of you may know, that it's not recommended that women who have recently given birth get back into doing specific abdominal exercises after giving birth. But she was adamant that she wanted to get back to having a flat toned stomach just like it was prior to her falling pregnant. But I had to explain to her and tell her from the get-go that this is a process and this was not going to be something that was going to happen in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, giving birth, as many of you listening will know, is quite a demanding process on the female body. And to get back to what it was like prior to falling pregnant is a process. So I had to make it clear that she had to learn to enjoy the process and not get frustrated by these changes, these adaptations, these progresses not happening overnight. And this is what I'm encouraging you to remember, guys. When you set a goal, you set an objective, you have to fall in love with the process. You have to fall in love with taking each day by day, doing the things, developing the habits, developing the mental state, developing the mindset, because otherwise you will get frustrated. If you don't see your goal achieved in the next 7 days, you will get fed up and revert to type or default back to the old you. So you have to learn to love the process and learn to love who you're becoming or who you can become. Learn to have an image in your mind of this new person that you want to turn into. If you're still thinking about the changes that you want to make, but with that old mentality, that current mindset is simply the mindset that's got you to where you are now. You have to learn to change that mindset, adopt a new mindset, and again, that is a process. That is something that happens over the period of time. You have to learn to develop. Just like with anything, if you can pick up 5 kilos, and that's the maximum you can do right now, but as you practice, as you develop new abilities, you will learn to pick up 6 kilos, 7, and so on and so forth. And it's the same with your goals. When you do this, you'll find it much more easier to be much more lighthearted and have much more ease when it comes to achieving your goals. So number one, learn to love the process. Number two, now moving on from number one, the next step into achieving your goals and reverse engineering your fitness goals is to act the part. Now that you've learned to love the process, or you're learning to love the process, you now have to behave and act like that new person. So if your goal is to shed some unwanted weight, or if your goal is to run a specific distance, or to lift a particular weight, ask yourself these questions, and you may want to grab yourself a pen, press pause, and write these questions down, because these are really profound questions that I've often asked myself when I want to achieve a specific goal. Number one, what does that person do? So what does the new person that you're wanting to become do? How do they behave? How do they think? How do they act? And what foods do they eat? So if you can imagine yourself, your future self, and I've often referred to this when I'm talking about meditations, and speaking to your higher self or your future self, what does that person do? So, if you imagine that you were to speak to your future self, how would they answer that question? Well, I don't eat this food anymore because I know that that food wasn't really serving me well. Or I don't really drink this much alcohol because I know that was impacting on my ability to lose weight. Ask your future self, how do they behave? What do they do? And that will allow you to act the part, start adopting behaviors, start adopting characteristics of this new version of yourself. When you do that, again, you'll find that it's much easier to start sticking and behaving in a way that is going to serve you and going to help you and propel you to reach your goals. As I touched on before, many people fall into the trap of trying to achieve a new person or a new state of being with the current or old mindset. That just leads to frustration, feeling fed up, banging your head against a brick wall, and as I said, defaulting to type. So, learn to understand that you have to start embodying and acting and behaving just like this new version of you would. So, ask yourself those questions. What does that person do? How do they behave? How do they think? And what habits are they displaying in their life on a daily basis? And when you begin to embody that person, when you begin to act like that new person, you'll find after a period of time that it will become second nature to you. Don't try to achieve this new version of yourself by behaving or thinking the way that you currently do. Start learning to adopt new mindsets. And it's one of the things that we talk about extensively in the Real Rejuvenation Masterclass, because changing your mental state is key principle and something that you have to learn and adopt and start developing ability to do if you're going to become a new version of yourself. And that's one of the reasons what I've seen over the years where many people fail and feel fed up and get frustrated because they're trying to achieve this new state of being, this new way of living, but they're doing it with a current or an old mindset. So number 2, act the part. Number 3, easy going. Or if you say that backwards, going easy. And I mean going easy on yourself. Look, it's key that you remember and you understand that there are going to be days where you have to be kind to yourself. There are going to be days when you are moving towards this better, improved, healthier, fitter version of you that you don't want to do the things that you know you need to do in order to achieve your goal. But that's okay. I'm here to remind you that you can go easy on yourself. Be kind. Forgive yourself for the days that you don't achieve a specific task that you said you were going to do. Often people do get really downcast, dejected, because they don't do what they say they're going to do. And that can lead them down this path of feeling guilty, feeling frustrated, but it's going to happen. So embrace the fact that's going to happen. There are going to be days where life just happens. Things are going to come up that were unexpected. Things are going to happen that you didn't expect to happen, and that takes priority. But it's not the end of the world. Remember that when those events occur, when these things do happen, when these unexpected events show up, and you have to deal with this certain situation, and that doesn't allow you to do the things that you said you're going to do, that's going to move you towards your goal, your objective, it's fine. Deal with it and move on. Don't dwell on the fact, don't get too dejected. Understand it's all part of the process. So remember, go easy on yourself. Life happens, things come up. You aren't always going to be able to do the things that you want to do that's going to move you towards your goals. But it's okay. All right. So just before we jump into number 4, I just want to quickly remind you how you can connect with us here on the Real Elevation podcast community. You can find me on Instagram. Just check out Hendrix Holistic 44. That's my handle. You can connect with me on there. On LinkedIn, just type in Mike Hendrix. You'll find me on there. On Facebook, Mike Hendrix or Mike Bobby Hendrix. And also on YouTube, Subscribe to Hendrix Holistic Fitness, where you will find all the goodness of our latest videos, talks, and insights on that channel. So, as always, I will leave these connection details in the show notes where you can click on and link as we grow the Hendrix Holistic community and the Real Elevation podcast community as well. All right, so we are talking about how to reverse engineer your fitness goals and achieve them with ease. How to reverse engineer your fitness goals and achieve them with ease. So we use that acronym REAL, but as we suggested, we said it backwards. We spoke about loving and understanding that it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. So learn to love the process. Number 2, we said act the part. What does the new version of you act like? What do they behave like? What do they feel like? What do they think? Begin to understand and adopt those characteristics of that new person, and you'll start to achieve your goals much more easier. Number 3, we talked about easygoing or going easy on yourself. There are going to be days where you don't feel like it, where you don't feel like you want to do the things that you need to do. That's going to move you towards your goals. But that's fine. Be kind on yourself, go easy on yourself, forgive yourself when those days do occur, because life happens. And number 4 is results. Enjoy the results. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the new version that you are becoming. Sometimes we get focused on just doing, but we don't really take time to enjoy the results. We enjoy the progress that we've made, enjoy the benefits that we've seen from the new practices that we've maybe introduced into our life. So remember to enjoy the results, enjoy the process, because when you do, you'll find it much more easier, much more enjoyable. It'll be easier to keep that motivation and moving towards this better, healthier, fitter, stronger, whatever your said or specific goal may be. So enjoy the results. And that is how you reverse engineer your fitness goals and achieve them with much more ease. Learn to love the process. Act the part. So become the person that you want to become. Go easy on yourself. Take it easy, be kind. Remember, there are going to be days where you don't want to do the things, but that's fine. And enjoy the results. Results are guaranteed when you learn to apply and set your goals and apply this reverse engineer principle. And I do this often with many of the clients that I see. Don't just get them to identify what it is that they want to achieve. Actually apply this principle. Learning to love the process. Act the part, going easy on themselves, and enjoying the results, because when they do, the results are guaranteed. So that is my insight that I'm sharing with you today, guys. Ask yourself this question. Is this something that you can begin to apply yourself? You may have set some goals, you may have set some objectives of things that you want to see achieved with regards to your well-being, improving your wellness in your life, and achieving specific fitness goals. Is this something that you can begin to do? Because I believe, like with many of the people that I've helped over the years and continue to help using this simple acronym, both with regards to the real rejuvenation, so recognize, eat right, keep active, and love yourself. And then when we flip that on its head, going backwards, we learn to love the process, we act the part, we embody and go easy on ourselves, and we enjoy the results. Okay, that's it for today, guys. I trust you found today's episode insightful and elevating. So until next time, remember, be well, be wise, be cool, be calm, and keep it real. If you did find today's episode beneficial, I'd love for you to share it with your connections and your community as we continue to grow the Real Elevation podcast. Remember to leave a comment, like, and share, as it helps us reach more people. Until next time, be well, be wise, be cool, be calm, and keep it real. Blessings and chi. Peace.